Hey, do you love a good story? Great. Then you got to check out the #Storytime podcast. Each episode brings you the craziest, creepiest, and cringiest stories from YouTube, TikTok, Reddit, and beyond.
My story is about the time that I was broken up with at the 9/11 memorial. Twice.
Look, the internet is a dumpster full of stories, and I, your host, Will McFadden, dive in headfirst, sift through the flaming trash, and bring you nothing but treasures. Listen to all 21 episodes of #Storytime now on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
My night is rubbish. Isms. Juxtapose. Didactic. My night is rubbish. My night is rubbish podcast.
Hello and welcome to episode number 69. 69 of Modern Art is Rubbish. I'm not giggling because I've done all the giggling, got it out of my system about what episode number we are, Tom. Are you alright, Tom?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks.
Yeah. So,
For the 69th time.
So, Tom, got 3 stories coming up. Banksy, of course. I don't think we can do an episode about Banksy these days, it seems. One about, art still goes on during another lockdown in the UK. And also something about a statue that's caused a little bit of debate and controversy as well. And your new single or new song is released soon, is it not?
Well, as we're recording this, it's released today.
Oh my God.
So, this is going out tomorrow, isn't it?
You can't get more exclusive than that, really, can you?
Well, unless it's before release.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be more exclusive, but that'll do. It'll have to do. So, on to the first one. Do you remember there used to be a Banksy of 2 policemen kissing on the wall in a pub in the Albert? It's the Albert pub, wasn't it, in Brighton? You know that one?
Yeah, absolutely.
And for ages, I thought that it still was, that image was still on the side of the pub because it's behind Perspex. And basically, it turns out that one's actually chipped off the wall and sold.
Yeah, so that was a few years ago, wasn't it?
So basically Banksy on the wall, and I thought it was the original, and it turns out someone just chipped it off the wall and sold it. And apparently that happens quite a lot, where people take stuff off walls and sell it and make a little bit of money.
This has been in the news because of the Nottingham Banksy that appeared.
Well, yeah, I saw about the Nottingham Banksy. I don't know the full details, Tom. Maybe you could enlighten me, but I'm talking more about something that happened on Antiques Roadshow.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, he did a girl dancing with a bike tire.
Oh, yes.
Next to a bike with a tire missing.
Oh, cool.
That was locked against a post.
Yeah.
And so it kind of went with the scene. And both. So the bike got stolen.
Yeah.
After the Banksy, got moved, got taken away.
So it's like a Banksy ready-made that's been stolen.
Yeah. And they covered it with Perspex, but they've been talking about moving it, but then it's the ownership debate. Who owns it? It's the landlord that owns it rather than the people using the building. There's been all that's been in the news. I don't know, did you see that story?
Yeah, I didn't see that. I saw the actual work appear in Nottingham. I mean, the reason I was actually bringing it up is because there was recently someone tried to bring a Banksy that they just a Banksy rat that was done in Brighton. Basically, it was on some kind of metal plate, and they'd unscrewed it from the wall and brought it into Antiques Roadshow. And we've actually put a link to the Antiques Roadshow video on our website, and he got told off And they said without a pest control. Now, pest control, as we always say, is the place that authorises Banksies. And make sure that if you've got a Banksy, you really need a pest control certificate with it.
It doesn't really fit into the Antiques Roadshow because Banksy isn't like from 200 years ago or 100 years ago even. It's a bit modern, isn't it?
Yeah.
The Antiques Roadshow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically, they said it was worthless, and they actually said you're a bit of a naughty boy, and told the guy off because Banksy doesn't like this. He believes that his work should be left, and if they're painted over, they're painted over, but they shouldn't be taken off and sold. So basically, they're not automatically Banksies unless if you just take something off the wall.
Yeah. So unless it's in its like intended location, it's no longer a Banksy, according to
Banksy.
Whoever the man is himself.
Mr. Pest Control. I don't know if the Banksy sits behind. He must have a mate does that. I can't imagine it's him, is it? Just sitting there checking it out.
It would be a great sort of cover business if he actually ran a pest control business as a front for his art empire.
Well, yeah, but you get to lots of locations, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he would.
And maybe that's his cut. Well, maybe we've onto something there, Tom. Right, so on to the next one. This is just something I thought people find interesting. It's just some art that's going on during the lockdown. Now, it's by a company that organise these things. I don't know if they're a company or if they're a charity, to be honest. But basically, Wild in Art, they are actually the commercial organisation, I've just remembered, that creates art events across the globe. And in our town here, Brighton, UK, which we keep mentioning constantly, do you remember we've had snails, haven't we? Where artists, there were lots of snails placed around Brighton, and different artists painted them, and people would go and look at them. Do you remember that, the snails? And there was also snow dogs as well.
Wow, yeah. So the snow, when was that? Was that recently?
Yeah, it was about a couple of years ago. And basically what they did was they've had 1 year where we had snow dogs and 1 year where we had snails. They're great big, giant sort of snails sculptures, and artists could paint them however they wanted. And so each artist would do a different design on them. And at the end, they would actually be auctioned off for charity. So there'd be like a snail trail and a snow dog trail going around Brighton.
All right, yeah, well, that's going to irritate. Well, the snail trail's going to irritate the gardeners, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a big old snail.
Well, I don't know about the snow dogs. Is that a type of wild dog? Is it?
Well, the snow dog that actually was portrayed was a local artist, sort of illustrator called Raymond Briggs, who famously did a book called The Snowman, and the dog was the dog that was featured in it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there was giant ones of those. Now, the same companies that's done that have actually, at the moment, during COVID, they've taken over shop fronts and windows, and they're getting artists to put art in there, because obviously a lot of premises at the moment are closed down, and they're not allowed to open, so they're utilising this space. So they've got some interesting artists that are putting up stuff around Manchester at the moment.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So, for instance, like one of the artists they've got is like Mark Kennedy. I particularly like him because he's what he does is he creates mosaics. But like you go around towns and you see a lot of these people that do paintings of famous people, and they sell them on the street and stuff, like street vendors sell their famous pictures of paintings of famous people. What he's actually done is he actually creates them out of mosaics. So he makes mosaics of, for instance, there's one here he's done of Bob Marley, and then he's done one of a famous Coronation Street character, which is a soap opera in the UK, and she's called Hilda Ogden. And
closely associated with Manchester, unlike Bob Marley, I'd say.
I've tried to look up why the Bob Marley Manchester connection. I believe there may be one, but I haven't found it yet, because I think the theme was there was some kind of Manchester connection. Maybe.
Okay,
I know he did a gig in Manchester. I'm sure there's probably more than just that. And if I find out, I'll let people know on the next podcast or so.
Yeah, but Hilda Ogden is a fictional character from Manchester.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Whereas Bob Marley is a famous reggae singer from somewhere else other than Manchester.
He did spend a lot of time in London, but I don't know, maybe popped up to Manchester for a few, a few Bob Marley things. I don't know what Bob Marley did in London, but maybe did the same in Manchester.
Yeah, well, these days he might make a guest appearance on Coronation Street.
Yeah, well,
if he was still with us,
I'm sure he would. I think.
Rest in peace, Bob, dear Bob.
And there's another one, which is an artist called Rick Fachin. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. It's Facchin. I think that's Fachin or Fachin. And what he does is really interesting. Is he creates tiny miniatures of the shop fronts in Manchester. So he recreates them in tiny, tiny size. So it could, and I think it's quite interesting because a lot of it's almost like a real physical recording of change. Because people take photographs of shop fronts, but you very rarely people create models. So in years to come, you'll have these little tiny actual recreated models.
Yeah, and if us as a human race, we do suddenly shrink down and become little mini people, we can actually relive the experience of now.
There was a film like that with Matt Damon where it was so expensive to live as a big person that they shrunk you down so you could live like a millionaire because you took up a lot less space.
Excellent.
That's quite a good little. I can't remember the name of the film. Do you know the name of the film?
I have actually seen that film.
Yeah, and I can't remember the name. It was quite good. Though, yeah. Would you be shrunk if you could go into maybe one of these little art pieces and live there?
Well, because I'm such a small person anyway, I'd be quite cheap to shrink, I reckon.
Oh yeah, you'd get even more money.
I'd only need half a dose of whatever it is.
So. I like the way that he's recreated these shop fronts. You can't. I mean, it's really. I'll put a link on the website, and you can see that they're very similar. It's very difficult to tell which is which.
Yeah, well, you say it's difficult to tell which is which. It's because, like, you can blow up the pictures and shrink down the pictures so they look the same. But in real life, it'll be easy to tell, wouldn't it?
Yeah, one you wouldn't be able to open the front door on, the other one you would.
Yeah.
Now, a short advertisement break.
Hello, so, thanks for bringing this in. Can you tell me a bit about it?
Well, yes. Yes, my father said he bought this several years ago for about £20 in the 1970s, and he's had it in his loft, and I thought I'd just bring it in. I was just wondering what you can tell me about it, or whether it's worth anything.
I've never been insulted so much in all my life. You come on here with this turtle art print thinking you're going to make a quick buck out of us here when you know you can just download it for free from modernartisrubbish.com.
So just head over to modernartisrubbish.com and subscribe to our email list to get your free artwork and to be updated on the latest Modern Art is Rubbish news. So, Tom, we're going to have a little bit of a controversial topic here, and I'll be talking about controversial sculptures, which we do like a lot on this show.
Okay, can I guess what the controversial sculpture is?
Yes, you can.
Okay, is it controversial? Does it involve anyone famous?
Yes.
Okay. Is it someone who's dead?
Yes.
Is it a woman?
Yes.
Are they naked?
Yes. You've been looking at the pictures that I sent you before, haven't you?
Yeah.
That doesn't sound right. I've been sending you naked women pictures. That really doesn't sound right. Anyway, yes, the artist Maggie Hamblin has been asked to make a public sculpture, which she actually has made and is now out, and it's caused a bit of controversy.
Who asked her? Was it her husband?
I don't know. Her husband. So basically, it's of Mary Wollstonecraft, and it's a small naked figure. The sculpture is of a small naked figure emerging from a mixture of female forms that appear swirling in liquid. Now, this has caused a bit of controversy because basically you've got a feminist writer, an icon, who's been presented as a small, tiny, naked form. And, the reaction was quite quick to condemn it.
Yeah, well, I guess with feminism, there's some strands of feminism that will say, oh, we shouldn't have naked women, and others that would say, oh, yeah, we should have fully naked. It's all good. So it depends which side of that particular feminist argument you come from. Is that the point?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think some of the controversies, particularly if you go back throughout the galleries and art history, it's littered with what I would call exploitative, to a certain extent, depictions of women. They're always depicted. A lot of them are depicted nude and vulnerable, and so that's quite a tradition of that within art.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so that's maybe where a lot of people would perhaps be coming from. And for instance, one writer, Imogen Hermes Gower, she said, nameless, nude and conventionally attractive is the only way women have ever been acceptable in public sculpture. I think she's generalising, because that's simply not the case in that respect, but I can see the wider truth of what she's saying. But interestingly, Maggie Hamblin, the artist, she said, she feels that she's missed the point, because it is the statue is actually for Wollstonecraft and not of her, a sculpture about now in her spirit. So Hamblin goes on to say, this was in an interview, that clothes define people, so she chooses to represent Wollstonecraft in undefined in that way, and that's really interesting to me. Do you see what I mean? So she's just showing almost like the spirit of her rather than her the person. Yeah,
and if someone was going to make a statue for you, Marcus, you'd like to be all ripped and look really handsome on it if you were going to be naked, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but that's me, and that's What do you mean all ripped and really handsome? But you're describing me now.
Well, exactly. Sorry, I made a mistake there. You'd like to look just like you are, wouldn't you?
So I can see what Maggie Hamblin's saying. There's an artist, an American photographer called Gregory Crewdson, who I really like, and his photographs I really recommend people have a look at them. Basically, he makes photographs that look like they're from a film set, and he'll just have this one shot, and it's full of narrative. They're a bit like a well lit, full of imagery, like it could be a shot of a couple of people inside a house and they're looking quite down, and there's sort of like narratives going, the beds might be unmade, or you get the kind of picture, and they look very much like David Lynch and remind me a bit of the American painter Edward Hopper. Now, in his pictures, he frequently has naked people. And the thing is that I think is when you look at his work as a whole, sometimes when you see these naked people, you think, actually, if he added clothes to these people, he'd be adding an extra narrative that shouldn't be there.
Yeah, and I guess it's kind of timeless being naked, isn't it, as well?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's timeless nudity.
Yeah.
What better nudity is there? I knew I wouldn't be able to handle this subject completely seriously the whole way through. So the thing is that I can appreciate also what the critics are saying, because there's a thing to be said. It's out in the public and people are not going to necessarily look at that and react to it in the way they would if they were in an art gallery.
Sure.
So it's two different A public art needs to have a slightly different conversation than art that's actually situated in a gallery.
Sure, no, you're right, yeah.
Right, and so ends our podcast number 69, Tom. So where can people get hold of us?
People can get hold of us by the scruff of our necks.
You reprobate.
On Facebook, modernartisrubbish.com.
The website, modernartisrubbish.com, as you said, and info@modernartisrubbish.com if you want to email us. And before we go, Tom, you have a new release that is coming out, and I think people need, for their reasons of good digestion, to listen to it, although that is not medical advice, I have to say.
It sounds like sound medical advice to me, Marcus.
What do you think? Your food will, in fact, help you eat better?
Well, maybe not eat, but sleep better.
I'm sure it would. Although we cannot. These are scientifically unproven claims.
Yeah, that's
for reasons of legality. Right. So, Tom, what's it called?
It's called The Dream Is Over.
So we better get our buys in, and then we'll play out with a song.
Goodbye.
Bye.
I'll stay in bed. I won't go out fighting no war. Now say it again. I won't go out fighting no war. It's not too late. Now say it again. It's not too late. Yeah, we can do it together. 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 Now say it again. Yeah, we can do it together. Now say it again. Yeah, we can do it together. Now say it again. Yeah, we can do it together. Now say it again. Yeah, we can do it together.
You might have noticed a change in your neighborhood lately. Yep, Sprint stores are now T-Mobile stores. Now that Sprint is T-Mobile, you get more coverage, value, and benefits than ever before. We've invested billions to bring our 5G from big cities to small towns across America. And great coverage is just the start. From high-speed mobile hotspot data to weekly deals and giveaways, our customers get tons of great benefits. Head to your new T-Mobile store to learn more.
Qualifying service and capable device required. Coverage not available in some areas. Some uses may require certain plan or features. See T-Mobile.com.
You might have noticed a change in your neighborhood lately. Yep, Sprint stores are now T-Mobile stores. Now that Sprint is T-Mobile, you get more coverage, value, and benefits than ever before. We've invested billions to bring our 5G from big cities to small towns across America. And great coverage is just the start. From high-speed mobile hotspot data to weekly deals and giveaways, our customers get tons of great benefits. Head to your new T-Mobile store to learn more.
Qualifying service and capable device required. Coverage not available in some areas. Some uses may require certain plan or features. See T-Mobile.com.